What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, RedoptionAgency.com, 23 years, selling full-time on eBay. And welcome to Monday morning, Cyber Monday, as they call it. We're going to go over the weekend numbers, what's been going on with eBay. Yesterday was Problem City, which is sad. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing new, because apparently the first time I searched, I can search the same thing on eBay 2 different times. The first time I got literally no results. Then I went and checked today, and there's tons of results. So there are people out there doing it the way that I'm going to do it. But I was blown away by thinking that nobody was doing it, because the search results didn't give me anything to really choose from and bite on the first day when I was doing research and stuff. So again, search engine on eBay is never consistent and is one of the big problems in 2024 when it comes to shopping and selling on eBay. It's just mind-blowing that it's so jacked up still. But we're going to get into all that. I'm going to go ahead and show you. So the next volume game I'm going to get into, it's things that I used to do in a certain form in the music section, and it worked pretty well. I just never dedicated a lot of time to it, or didn't set up a system to make it flow really well. So I'm going to work up a system to make it flow really well and show you that you can just, start from nothing on these low volume things and see what it brings in, see if you can build it into something. So this is something that's out there and people are doing them. The first day I was doing research, it was more the vintage stuff. And I knew about the vintage stuff before. And I'm like, well, I don't really see anybody doing it more modern. And today I went and looked. I'm like, well, there's sellers right there doing it more modern. So it is working. And it does have a better sell-through rate than the vintage ones that I have been searching and doing research on. So decent volume. Nothing's going to knock it out of the park, but it's something that's quick, easy, one picture, done, simple, and that is print ads. So what I'm doing differently is, you can get, when you go to like the bins, Goodwill bins, why does this camera keep moving? You can, this thing's a pain in the butt when it's not working properly. You can go to the bins and get a lot of modern magazines. Some people usually grab, you can get the older ones too, with the antique, not the antiques, but the antique ads, I guess you could say, the old Time magazines and stuff like that. But there's tons of modern magazines. And the first 2 categories I'm going to get into is music and video games. Try to get the younger generation, and like I said, there's people doing it. So now that I know that today, I was kind of shocked the first day that I did it or looked for it and didn't find anything. But I'm gonna give you an example of what I pulled out so far, and then I'm going to show you on eBay what's going on also. But so I need to get one of those paper cutter things that, so I can make sure that the sides are even. But I want to get one that shows like the rulers nice and bright, so that I can take the picture while it's on that. So I can shave it, leave it there, take the picture. People know what size it is. I don't have to put it in the title, which is going to save time and make it more streamlined. And everything's done in one little picture. So and all I have to do is type in what the ad says, basically. But you're going to get, I'm going to try to take it a little bit further than what I've seen people doing, because I've seen people just do the ads. But if I can get like an interview on one page, I'm going to try those out too. Like if they interview a rock star or something, and it's just a 1-page type of thing. Like this was a countdown on video games, and the number 1 was Super Mario Galaxy. So it's not really a print ad, but anybody who likes Super Mario may buy that to frame it. And then also with 2-page ads, here's a Game Crazy store ad, which was kind of cool. And then, of course, you got your video game ads and such. Like so. And you're going to get more money out of your Marios, probably the same as the video games, your Marios, your Mega Man, things that are more sought after. But then you're going to get things like somebody who just loves this game, maybe collects everything about this game, wants to buy this to frame it, put it in their game room. I'm debating on whether to, figure out a way to frame it also for people and charge extra, since you can get frames at the bins. So I'm playing with that idea too, like an add-on an extra $10, I'll frame it for you and send it out. So that's another thing I'm going to be working on too. Harvest Moon. And these are magazines that's been sitting in my store forever that just didn't sell. So I'm like, okay, let's do something with them. And I'm going to go with a certain pricing point, even like Hubba Bubba bubblegum ads. Here's a Mega Man here. And then also I've got a lot of current music magazines. Let me find something. Like here we got Joe Satriani with the PV amp. And this magazine's from 2007, something you could find at the Goodwill bins any day of the week. Then you have this Kramer with Eddie Van Halen, which may bring a little bit more money since he's passed away. But then I'm also doing the equipment also. So we have the Shure microphone here. And then also like some blank media, TDK. And then within these, you can find all different kinds of, like here's one, like Mind Pictures by Steve Vai. So it's just a one page, I guess, a little article that Steve Vai wrote that maybe a Steve Vai fan never seen, because it's in this one magazine that was out in 2007 that they never even heard of before, you know what I mean? So I'll kind of go in that route with it. So I'm trying to think differently while doing it. I mean, everybody's going to have, your guitar ads and stuff up. But I'm trying to go a little deeper, and when I go through a magazine and go, okay, what's something that somebody may not necessarily pull out, like that Steve Vai piece. So, and then we have cool double pages on the rock also. Let me get the second page out here. So this is a cool piece, especially coming from my background with Quiet Riot. But we have a double piece for Rudy Sarzo. The bass behind the man behind the bass. So cool PV ad there. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to be, my goal is to get about 500 drafted before January 1st. So I got about a month. And then launch it come January. So if I can do that or beat that goal, that's the goal of that. Let me shrink me down. I'll kind of show you. I found one buyer this morning, and I go, oh, all right, that's a pretty decent sell-through rate for volume. Who was it? This guy. So as you see here, I typed in video game print ad, and I saw a lot of $5 here, and I looked, and it's all the same person. So I'm like, oh, let's check out what they're doing and see how it's going over. I like going this route so I can see the other view. I don't like the store view. Switch to classics. Boom. So let's see. Let's do print ad, see how many they got in their store, and see what their sell-through rate is. So they got 7,500 print ad pieces in their store. And video games, a musical, Lacoste, Polo, Castlevania. So this is the direction when I found this, I'm going, oh, this is the direction I'm going in. And then if it's a vintage one, you know how I like transportation related, anything airplane related, things like that. So this person is pretty much doing exactly what I had pictured. So that just proves it can be done. They got theirs $5 plus $4.75 shipping. My initial thought is putting all mine up for $9.99, then the 30% off, so it's $7 per ad. But if you buy two, you get two free. That's my initial thought. I may rethink that now that this person's doing $5 ads. And then let's see. So they got 7,500. See what their sell-through rate is on those. 163. So your typical slow sell-through rate. See, $5, $6, $5, $6, $6.50. And to save time, my goal is to do them all the same price, just so I don't have to look anything up, and it's just quick listing, streamlining it to make it quicker, make it worth the while. If I lose $3 on a Fleetwood Mac one, no big deal. Maybe I make it up someplace else. So they got a cake one, some cake ones. So, see, this is something I'm thinking, like, if I saw this, I would do it and go, who else is going to have Hartford Fire Insurance ad with like no real color to it? So I'm like, nobody will probably have that. Not that particular, but that mindset. But yet here's this person doing something with the mindset that I was going into it, and it worked. It got $5. So I can see that my mindset does work. And I was doing this too. I pulled a lot of just smaller ads out. But maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll leave the whole ad like that. My original thought was to cut it down, just cut it out. But they're showing that you can just leave it together, because this, whatever they're talking about here, is probably not about this ad. This ad's probably just an ad. So I'm glad I saw that, because that'll save me time cutting it down when I don't really need to. I pulled out advertisements like this too. Not the Sea Monkeys, but Columbia House. Buy so many CDs for a penny. I cut those out when I saw them too, thinking like this. Okay, so it can work. And if I can do better pricing plus buy two, get two, then maybe I can turn up the volume a little bit better than this person has. But they got a lot at $6 and $6.50 too, so So my original thought was $9.99, so $7, $6.99, buy two, get two. Maybe I drop it down $1 and do $8.99, 30% off, buy two, get two. Just to compete more with a person like this, being this is pretty much how I was thinking about doing it, because as you notice, there's a lot more color than there are older black and white ones that this person's selling. Now I come into the older ads there as I'm talking. But here's a print ad from 2012. So my goal is to target those newer magazines and wait for like the newer generation to buy it, as opposed to somebody who collects antiques or is into something from the 20s or 40s or 50s. But of course, if I come across those magazines, then yeah, I'm going to grab them. But the magazines that are in abundance are going to be more modern magazines. And when you do volume, it's about what's out there, what you can get, the cheapest you can get it. And you're going to be able to get modern magazines for dirt cheap. And along with everything with volume, you can't just do a little bit and go, okay, that didn't work or that did work. You have to put the time into the actual work of doing it. And Entombed. This is a band called Entombed. If you ever see this Wolverine cover, it may not be now. It used to be collectible. They had to change it from, I think, from licensing standpoint to this cover right here. But it used to have the Wolverine cover as their front cover. So if you ever see that CD Entombed with the Wolverine cover. But here's something. This is a comic print ad. $8 on that one. All right, let's see how they're doing their pictures. If they're just doing one picture. Let me go back up to like a more modern one. Yep, one picture. Simple. Ship flat between sturdy cardboards. I just got to get those right mailers, like those standard envelope mailers that are pretty sturdy. I think that will be enough instead of putting them in plastic, putting it in cardboard, just putting them in those stiffer envelope mailer things. Kind of like I put this trading cards in. So that's where I'm going with that. So that's the next thing I'm going to be adding to my store. So not a super great sell through, but if I can get people to buy two, get two, that'll turn up the volume. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So that's the next thing I'm going to be working on, throwing into my big store, being that moving all my hats over to the other store. This camera's got a mind of its freaking own. And then it won't let me move it when it locks into that. Normally it locks when I move it and set it. So I'm not sure why it's not locking in. Come on. Wow. Never buy an instant 360 camera. These things are a pain in the ass. All right, let's see where I'm at. So yesterday was I've never had the lowest day probably of the year on a day between Black Friday and Cyber Monday. $366 after a $749 day. $366. How pathetic is that? You can go back through the history. I was down 60% from last year on yesterday's numbers. So that's the difference. 60% down. Today, I've been stuck at 264 for a few hours. I was up, I might have sold a couple, but I was up at like 250, 240, 250 by 10 a.m. So I'm like, all right, well, we're almost to yesterday's numbers, but now I'm just stuck there. I do know on Cyber Monday the sales usually come later on eBay, but it is 1 o'clock, so yeah, pathetic showing. And a Sunday on eBay. My Sundays, 976, 643, 819, 365. Really? But the offers were messed up yesterday. Couldn't send offers here and there. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. It's just the same problems, which is pathetic that it has to happen this time of year with eBay. I hope when they get their numbers, it's an extremely low number that just smacks reality in their face. All right, so for the weekend, $1,757, up 13.1% from the previous 3 days. Can't look at selling costs because all the shipping was done on one day for the day before and some of the day after. So average sale price down to $925. Wow. I did have a lot of volume when I did have the sales on the Saturday. I've never had an average sale price per item down that low, $925. I had a 40-piece order, had several 4 to 10 piece orders, 4 to 12, 4 to 8, basically. So I'm guessing that's what really drove those numbers down, and the fact that I keep moving more and more hats over to the newer stores. So that number's always going to be low from here on out, unless I put in come across some of the big dollar stuff in storage or in my and Jan's thrift battle, which we still haven't got to the bins to do a second round yet. It's just been, on our days off, we've been busy. My car was in the shop the other day. What was happening the other day? I don't remember. I think her car was in the shop. I don't know. Getting oil change and stuff. So top 5 for the weekend was DVDs and Blu-rays, cassettes, hats still hanging in over here. Vinyl records number 2 and CDs number 1 over here. So $17.57 for 3 days here. Let's go over here. Oops, let's just go over here. I'm working on some hats now in the new store. I just sent an email. My repeat buyer for hats came back in and bought some items Saturday. So I just sent him an email telling him about my new store, and all the newer hats are going into this store. So he knows to come here and buy them from now on. Custom. And we listed on the one side over here. So $735, up 42.5% over here. So again, you can't go with the sell-through rate because it includes some from Thursday, some from Monday. And hats take the number 1 position over here for the weekend, with t-shirts coming in at second. So, I want to see how many pieces I ordered Saturday compared to Sunday. Look at that. Look at that. So we had 110 items sold on Saturday and 30 sold on Sunday. 110 drops down to 30. The day before that was 47. Today I'm already at 28 pieces. That's sad. Let's see if listing views. Organics dropped. Again with that organic thing. Impressions. Organic dropped. I think it's all how the promoted is balanced. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it don't. My sales conversion was 2.8 a couple of days ago, so I'm still climbing at least on the conversion over in this store, moving the hats out. Let's see, what's my conversion over here? They're like 1.1 or something. It's 1.2 now. See, I expected to have better conversion rate with the clothes and the hats, but they're not all over here yet, so we'll see. Sunday over here, that stuff went up. Except for the items. but I don't really measure this store too much yet. So I have to figure out what the consistency is once I get it completed. All right. Anything else? I think that's all. Oh, Yep, so that's where I'm at. So just trying to get my head into a better spot. I'm just like, so far today, I am. I just been like so far into trying to like think of something new, or that I'm just overthinking things. Like, what can I do? What can I do that's new? What can I do that's different? What can I do that nobody's done before, whether that's selling or on YouTube or whatever? I was like, you know what? You're overthinking it. Just stop. Just do. If an idea comes to you, do like you normally do and make a stupid video. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. So I just got to get my head out of my ass and stop trying to think of that $1,000,000 idea consciously and let it come subconsciously. So, because I keep trying to think of something that I could do, that whether it's getting it manufactured or what have you, or just something that's right in front of my face that is there but nobody sees yet. And how can I turn that into something that's like a multi-piece type of order where I can just put up 100 and just let it go? So that's where my head's been focusing, at least direction wise, is trying to find that multi-piece item that will just continually bring in revenue. So, and of course I haven't thought of anything, but or if I have, it wasn't good enough to really stick with the thought. So, all right. Hope you guys had a good weekend with sales. Hope your Cyber Monday blows up. Mine's been pretty dead after 10 a.m., but I will see how it turns out come the evening time. Usually during the day, the people are trying to get all the bargains and stuff first, and then usually start picking up odds and ends and the odds and ends stuff as the day goes on. So hopefully that happens. It would suck to have another bummer day like yesterday. So I'm back to work, back to cross posting. Well, Vendu's down, so they're doing maintenance. It started messing up late last night when I was trying to cross list. It was just running slow. So I woke up this morning and they're down for maintenance. So I guess they had some issues. All right. So I think that's all for me. Poshmark's been doing all right. Let me see what I did on Poshmark this weekend. My sales on Posh. So I've got almost 5,000. I got 4,700 items in the store. Well, that counts the sold too, so I don't know how many I actually have in the store. Yesterday only, or that's today. $6 today, $36 yesterday. How do you go back? Yeah, I guess you can't go back to last month on 12 months. So for the month of November was my highest month ever on Posh at $799. So that's an extra $800 in the first month of really putting time into cross listing from one store. So if you add that to the eBay store numbers, to the small new store, that's what I'm kind of doing, is kind of putting those two stores together. So what I make on the new store, all those items are getting put onto Poshmark. So putting those two numbers together, and that's going to be my number for the new store. So that's how I'm calculating that in my head. So we'll see. We will see how that goes. All right. I will let you all get back to work as I need to. And I will talk to you all and see you all in the next video. Later.